Welcome everyone to the Awakening Mintaka Symposium, the recorded footage from our wonderful half-day seminar that we held on Zoom. There are 4 parts. These 4 parts will also be available on the Meow Podcast YouTube site, and the other wonderful creators, panelists, and participants are welcome to share that on their pages as well. Please go follow all of these wonderful folks. They gave their time and their heart and their trust and their faith in me putting this thing together by the seat of my pants. I hope you enjoy. It was a wonderful day, better than I ever could have anticipated, and we're excitedly planning next year's symposium, which hopefully will be an in-person event with a live stream. So enjoy, and I want to give a special thank you to my co-host on Meow Podcast and my BFF, Seraphina Blackman, for supporting me in this endeavor when I just declared, yep, I'm doing this, and I have no idea how. I had no idea who would show up, and now that we're getting to the people who showed up, I want to thank the wonderful panelists for giving their time and supporting this event and participating. And I also want to thank everyone who attended, everyone who registered. I'm glad I'm getting this footage up now because we are in the middle of the Mintaka Gateway. Mintaka is in alignment with the sun, the galactic center. So I hope you enjoy this, and so much love and gratitude to everyone who participated, all the panelists, and a little apology to anyone who had trouble with the Eventbrite site. It was my first time using that, and we'll have the bugs figured out next time. So without further ado, enjoy this episode of the Awakening Mintaka Symposium. All 4 parts were really lovely, and we hope you enjoy it. Awesome. I just had to disconnect the headphones and the pro mic so that I could use the computer audio just to play this. So like I mentioned, the love expansion dance or love expansion exercise incorporates these movements that I do in the 4 directions, and it's basically the start is that move I was showing you earlier during the Shanti Anufia, that part. And that means, you know, I'm safe, I'm love, everything is delightful. And then during the second part of the song, what I guess you could call a verse, breathing in source energy, breathing out love. And then you do a quarter turn, and then you wind up all the way around, and then you start the series over again. When this came through, they called it octanal healing. And the idea is that it's supposed to stimulate all of the energy centers in the body and do that tonal healing. Like I said, when I created the music, I had no idea the physical movements would go with it, so that was pretty cool. I'm trying to think if there was anything else neat about the way that came together, but that is it. So I will just play it for you, and then we'll get going on the mini consciousness anchoring. So that was it. I sang 4 different octave tracks of that same thing, and then had the harmonics on so that it gave as much of the range of sound as I could. I'm glad you all enjoy it. I didn't really have room right here to get up and dance right now, but I did the best I could with it. It always, if I'm here, so my mom has dementia, right? And sometimes they can just get cranky for no reason. And so I'll put it on in the car. It just instantly makes people happy and calmer. I'm going to get some mood lighting going. So I'll tell you real briefly, because I want us to have plenty of time for panel discussion. There we go. I think that'll work. How this came about for me. So Mintaka wasn't my full knowing. There would be a lot of layers that happened on top of that as time went on. But basically what I came to understand is that from my origin point, you know, my stellar origin point, the origin point of my consciousness, and this is the stuff that I'm still uncomfortable saying to people, believe it or not. You would think the Mintakan thing would be, you know, woo, enough. But so almost a year ago, I think it was April or May last year, I remembered that I embody the goddess Nemesis, and Gaia is my mother, and Uranus is my father. And I'm embodying that goddess Nemesis. And what Nemesis is sort of like the universe's database. Nemesis is the mother of the muses, goddess of memory. And when they told me this and told me that I had to tell people this, I kind of was a little salty about it and had the opinion of, oh, really? Great. You want me to tell people that I'm really an asteroid out in space named Nemesis and that Earth is my mother. But I took a leap of faith, and that is a lot of what this process has been, is continual leaps of faith, just like this beautiful event that we've had today and we're not quite done with. Like Monique said, this is all so moving and so validating, and it makes me so happy to have other people feel inspired and seen and heard, and like you have someone and lots of someones out there who feel the same way you do. And that's why I want to keep doing these, having other events in the future, going forward, so that we keep connecting with each other, because that is one of the things Mintaka is that all of the pods connect to each other, and that connection is part of the power. It's part of the amplification. So as much as we are able to connect with more of us here on Earth, the more we amplify that love frequency that we carry, and also just, I think, the happier we feel, and the greater sense of well-being. So they showed me one day, when I happened to be going to a visit the Akashic Records meditation. I'm in this meditation, and all of a sudden I hear, like, there's these other guides there, and they came to me and they're like, don't worry, nobody else can hear us, and they're not going to see what you're going to see, but we need to show you something. Because I had been saying, okay, great, I'm the library. I'm the library. What does that mean, I'm the library? And so I'm in this meditation, and everybody starts, we're going to go through the hall, and now we're going up the doors. And it was really lovely. But what happened while I was in there is that the next thing I knew, it was like I had the visceral experience and feeling of people walking around, inside my head. And it's not that all of the universal knowledge is literally stored in my head. I just think that's how I feel it. And so that was the first time I kind of had an inkling of what they meant. And then after that experience, they told me that there was much more in that library. And so I kind of went, okay, well, I made myself look like a crazy person, saying that I'm a celestial being and a goddess. So if I'm the library, so what? What good does that do? What am I supposed to use this for? And so I asked them for a way to help people to have the same sort of energy connection and feeling of joy and bliss and well-being that I had experienced as I had gone through that journey and process. So what they gave me is this consciousness anchoring. Now, when I do this one-on-one with a client, it's a very personal journey, and basically it's designed to use my frequency to help amplify yours and help you have the experience of expanding out your energy and connecting with Gaia, understanding your true size energetically when we're not in these bodies, out in space, and then come all the way back and bring all that back into your body, your vessel. Because just as there is infinite space without, we are actually this infinite well inside. We're like our own universe, and we can contain all of that and be perfectly safe in the human experience. And so in the Nemesis Library, everyone has their own book of consciousness. Those are the sessions that I do in private, because it's really a very personal experience, and I haven't figured out a way yet to do that in a group setting. But what I can do in a group setting is help you establish that perpetual energy loop, expand out your love frequency, connect with Gaia and have that experience your true size, and then bring that energy back into your body for full embodiment. The books of consciousness, just for the record, it's like only you and your highest self have access to it. But part of the reason for giving that to you, for anchoring that into your Taurus, is so that you don't feel the need to escape the human experience to expand. You don't feel the need like you're trapped here. Because what happens is, a lot of times as we start on a spiritual journey, we just want to be all in the ethers, and we miss the very purpose of being here, which is to fully embody all of our light in this human experience. That is where the power comes from. That is where the unlimited potential to travel comes from. That's where all the knowledge comes from. That's where the expansion and growth comes from. And so it's a really beautiful experience. So if you want to get comfortable, however you like, you can be lying down, you can be sitting. You don't need to watch me. You can if you like. My eyes may be closed at some points. I hold on to my rose quartz here. And before we get into it, I just wanted to show you my beautiful statue of Gaia, my mamacita. And when I hold this, the energy is just tremendous. But that's who we'll be meeting. And I have a feeling she's very, very excited about this. So if everyone's ready, I will start us in with some breathing. This isn't like hypnosis. You are fully conscious with it, but you may feel kind of dreamy. Like I said, the idea is to give you a visceral experience of what that feels like. So without any further ado, and it's kind of funny, I can't have anything on top of my head. I have to take off my glasses. There's all these special things. At least they let me keep the moonstone. All right. So, taking some breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. You don't have to do it exactly like me. Do it as it feels comfortable for you. We are establishing a circular breathing pattern where your inhale and exhale match. At the top of your inhale, pause a moment before exhaling and just feel that hold. And then at the bottom of the breath, pause a moment before taking in more air. Continue that breathing pattern as I'm talking, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And now as you breathe in through your nose, there's a beautiful liquid light that looks like pearls or opals pouring in through your crown. Pure source energy flooding your system, starting at your head and down your neck and your shoulders, through your torso, filling up all that inner space within. More source energy coming in with every breath. Down your legs, down to your toes. And as you're filling up with all of this source energy, I want you to think of something or someone that gives you pure delight, that unconditional love feeling, where there's nothing that they could do or that could happen that would make you feel anything other than love. A puppy, your child, your loved ones. And now that you are so full of source energy, which you continue to breathe in with every inhale, as you exhale, a rose quartz mist is going to start emanating from your solar plexus, and that is the unconditional love frequency, the rose quartz unconditional love frequency. It's warm and loving and supportive and gentle. And it's filling the space around you every time you exhale. You taking in that source energy, breathing it out as love. completing a perfect sphere around you with you as the perfect center. You can take your hands and run your fingers through it, shape it into a ball, see what that feels like. Breathing in source, and breathing out love. And when you're ready and at a pace which you feel comfortable with, you will begin to expand that love sphere with your connection to me for support. This unconditional love frequency is transmuting, it is passive and blessing to anyone and everything it touches, and nothing and no one can harm you that we may encounter as we expand out our energy. We are also bringing alpha dragons with us on this journey because the sun has been very active, and I do not want there to be any sudden solar activity. The dragons are expert at shielding us, the alpha dragons. So now as you breathe out that love, feel your bubble expanding, your love sphere covering the room you're in. Feel the feeling of energetic oneness with everything in your sphere, both animate and inanimate. And now expanding out farther, covering your building or your property. Feeling that oneness with everything, including the earth beneath you, the sky above you. Expanding out farther now as you exhale love to cover your neighborhood. Knowing that as you expand out farther and farther, you are blessing everywhere that is touched by this energy with love. Expanding a little faster now until your love sphere is taking you farther than your human eye could see. Connecting with mountains and oceans and tropics and Arctic places, and feeling beneath you your deep connection with the bedrock of the earth. Pause in the oceans to say hello to the cetaceans because they're here and very excited that you're all here with me. Allowing your sphere to expand out with every exhale until before you know it, you are covering the whole earth with this beautiful love sphere that's surrounding the entire planet. Holding this energetic size, we're going to complete our infinity loop of energy by connecting with the mother. Now as you breathe out that love, holding this size, encompassing Gaia, send all of that unconditional love and gratitude, all of that unconditional love and gratitude to our mother. Gratitude to Gaia, Terra, Mama Pachu for this nourishing, life-giving, beautiful place. Everything we eat, drink, breathe in, feel, see, experience. Sending all of that love and gratitude straight to Gaia and thanking her for this beautiful, beautiful life and her constant support and protection. Soon you start to feel that warm, loving energy coming up through your feet, because Gaia is sending you her gratitude and her unconditional love as it moves up your legs and your torso and fills your whole system, feeling the wonderful gratitude and love from this mother that we always have access to all the time. She is never too busy for you. She is never too tired for you. And as that love returns to you, you give it back to Source. And in this way, we've completed an infinity loop of energy. We are not meant to be empty or full. We are meant to be like a river with energy flowing through us at all times. If you so wish, this infinity loop of energy can stay with you all the time, and to remind yourself of it, all you need to do is engage in the breathing pattern. And now that we have this connection, I'm going to take you to Gaia's grotto. She's inviting us all to come and see her in her corporeal form where she likes to hang out. It is a beautiful inlet. It looks like a cove. There's meadow and all sorts of flora and fauna behind her. Every creature that has ever existed on the earth. And she is there at the end of this pathway that we are walking down. On one side there is land, and on the other side there is beautiful, clear crystal water. And you can see all the ocean life in there. And as we're walking along the path, I see Gaia in front of us. She may wish to speak through me for you, but she is there in all her glory and her beauty. And the reaction she's having right now is like the proudest, happiest, most joyful mother. She's very happy that you're all here. She's very happy and proud that we all found our way here and that you found your way here. She is so grateful to you for all the work that you've done and for the frequency that you hold on this planet. Her posture right now is just like when you did something unexpected and wonderful that just delights someone, delights your mother. That is how she is acting, like we have all shown up and surprised her with this beautiful visit. She loves you all so much. I'm so happy to see you all here today. I want you all to know you are welcome here anytime. Do what you've been shown to do and invite yourself in, and I will always be here waiting, ready to have tea with you and relieve you of all your burdens. If there is anything you wish to let go of right now while you are here in this group with me, you can just take it and set it down and leave it here, and I will return it where it belongs. I honor honor all of you for the great sacrifices you have made to come to this planet and do the important work that you do. I am Gaia, so I'm big enough to hug all of you at the same time, and that's what I am doing. Thank you very much, my children, for coming. It's time for you to go farther. Come back anytime. Continuing our circular breathing pattern. Source energy in and love out. We're going to expand out farther now, outside Earth's atmosphere, outside the magnetosphere, and out into space. Breathing in and out. We're surrounding the upper atmosphere. The magnetosphere. And then as you let out this last breath, we are out in space, our love sphere, containing us perfectly and safely, large enough to cover all of Earth. Feel the visceral change. You may feel a little more light, weightless, expanding out farther. Until we cover the Earth and the Moon. We will hold this size. As you settle in, notice that you are in your energy body. Allow yourself to stretch and grow and be your natural size, your Titan size, which is much larger, if you wish, than your human experience. You look over at the moon and you notice that the moon seems kind of small. Take the point of view of looking at yourself from a distance. You may see your energy body, your true form, what you look like when you're not embodied. We're all different, so what you see is unique to you. But look at yourself and look at the moon and you will notice that you are the same size. That is why the moon looks smaller. Just like an adult who goes back to a childhood playground and it seems like things shrink. Returning back, looking through your energy body's eyes, first person point of view. The muses will station themselves around you like a clock, and it doesn't matter that there's more than one of us here right now. They can be in multiple places at once. The muses station themselves around you like the hours on a clock, and they begin dancing in unison using that infinity loop of energy that you established with Source, through you to Gaia, through you to Source. And they are painting overlapping concentric infinity symbols, ultimately creating a big, beautiful torus, or donut, as some people might call it. This pulsing liquid light that flows and contains any number of things. You may see pictures in it, you may see colors, you may see all sorts of things. But this energy Taurus is yours to keep with you at all times. An ever-flowing, perfect flow of energy. And this Taurus is as giant as your energetic size. And as the muses finish their work and they start going the other direction to seal their Taurus that they've created with your energy for you, they would ordinarily depart, but they're pretty excited that you're all here, so they're going to stick around for another moment. Now that you're in this safe love sphere and you are in this beautiful freedom of space where there are no constraints, if there is anything you want to look at or get closer to, you can do that right now. And now that we have your Taurus built and you have your infinity loop of energy and you saw our mother, it's time to reverse the process and bring your Taurus, your energy body, and your love sphere all back into your infinite void within for full embodiment. Still breathing in source energy. As you breathe out, your sphere is going to slowly retract. Realize that you are not getting smaller, you're simply redistributing all of this energy to the infinite void within you. Your energy body, the big beautiful Taurus, and that love sphere, slowly coming back in closer to Earth and redistributing inside your infinite void within. And with this exhale, we are inside Earth's atmosphere now. Taking another deep breath in and exhaling. We're about the size of Earth again. Give Gaia one more squeeze before we move back into our present moment in our bodies. Slowly coming back in, closer and closer to your body, just the way you expanded out. The sky above you, the earth beneath you, the oceans, the forests, the mountains, the tropics, the Arctic. Feeling a oneness with all of that and all life and beings on this planet, while also being your own perfect, separate, sovereign being in this love sphere. Redistributing all of that energy back into your infinite void within. You may feel little twitches, tingles, or sensations throughout your body. This is your physical body adjusting to more energy being contained within you. Coming in closer now to your body. Closer and closer until you're covering your town now. And you're feeling a warmth and a fullness inside of you as all of that energy, that big beautiful Taurus, that love sphere, flows in, gently redistributing. Size of your neighborhood now. And as you get closer to your physical body, know that all of this energy, the love sphere, the Taurus, your true Titan size, is all encompassed, all embodied in your physical vessel, in that infinite void within. This love sphere will remain with you as you wish it to, and you can remind yourself of it or re-engage it anytime by going through the breathing exercise and reminding yourself. You may find it useful to project this out around you at times. When you are out in public, you will be surprised at the effect it has on other people. Now, your set point for your love sphere could be 6 feet, it could be 12 feet across, it could be your whole town. Whatever is right for you is what's right. There is no right or wrong. There is only what's comfortable for you. Fully coming back into your body. I remind you that all of this energy is with you and yours in your sovereign territory. We're back in our bodies, fully embodying all of that energy. And when you're ready, go ahead and return to your normal breathing pattern. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Oh, Meg. I've done this a lot. I have not done this with this many people before. And I just want you to know what a beautiful experience that was. Sorry it took a bit longer, but we'll go over for whoever wants to stay so we can really get down with this panel. Giving everybody a moment to kind of come back in to their bodies and being in the room and being present. Thank you, Brittany. Brittany says, that was absolutely incredible. Thank you, everyone, for coming together for this beautiful healing space. I have never seen Mom get quite that excited. It was really, really beautiful. I've been working on my toroidal fields in my Akashic residency program. So confirming, that's awesome. And you know what, Meg? What I've been told by other people who've done the whole full consciousness anchoring experience is that once they've done the second I call it an attunement because we go farther, we go to your point of origin. But what I've been told by people who've experienced that is that the Akashic records are a section of the Nemesis library. And that once you have done that attunement, there seems to be more of the library you have access to than the Akashic section. Let's see, Monique. I was too, Katie. I know. I was trying not to full on sob. Lizzie, that was beautiful. Thank you. Oh, I also sobbed with Gaia. Oh, yeah. And, you know, you may feel that release and the overwhelm of such pure love. We don't often get that experience on our own on Earth. And so when we're connected with the divine and with other people in that way, it is very moving. And it's so completely natural to let that all out. And I'm really happy this is a moving experience for you too. So panelists, anybody who wants to come on camera and mic, go ahead and do that. I'm going to mute myself again and put my There we go. Hi. Hi there. We've got a Marisa. Hi. Were you going to come on camera, Seraphina? All right, I've got that good. There's Brittany. Hi. You're still muted, Brittany, just so you know.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, actually, look, everybody's muted. So, hi. Oh, look, this worked out perfectly. Let's see. Am I missing anyone? Do we have everyone? Yeah, we do. Because Marie would have been the 7th, I think, right? Yes. So, wow. What an amazing day this has been. I just want to thank all of you that are here on the panel and who presented. When I told Seraphina in January, we're doing this Awakening Mintaka Symposium. I'm just going to do it. I have no idea how it's going to happen or if anybody's going to show up, or but I have to do it. They're telling me I have to do it. And so I just kept taking those leaps of faith. And again, huge thank you to Karen Rontowski, Paranormal Karen, because she was a big part of the reason that we really got the word out about this. But having you all come here and speak and present and just show up, everyone who's in attendance, everyone who watches this later. I know I speak for everyone when I say we are overjoyed and grateful to connect with all of you. This Mintaka experience is a beautiful one, but when you have it all by yourself, it can be very confusing and disorienting and make you feel almost more lonely than you did in the first place, more homesick, more where are my people? So I'm really excited that we get to talk about it more. And so would anyone like to go first on the panel? Did you have something you wanted to bring up?
I wanted to talk about the other Mintakans, if that's possible, because I think a lot of people who would be normally attracted to this symposium would be the Mintakans that came in the first wave. But there have been more than one wave of Mintakans that have come. And so they have very different experiences of Mintakans. So there are Mintakans that have the trauma of the invasion experience as well. So that desolation would be a little different, and that what's the word? Yeah, desolation. I don't have another word for it. Not just loss or grief or whatever. It's a desolation of abandonment, like abandonment, being left. Would be an experience for a number of Mintakans, and that would be a valid experience for them as well. So anybody who's watching this who you're part of the story too. Yeah.
Excellent point, Seraphina. Shannon has a question. It says I'm muted, but I'm not muted. Shannon said, were there large Zeppelin-like airships involved in the invasion?
I don't know what a Zeppelin is, but
it's the big, like the big hot air balloons, the big from World War II. Zeppelins.
Yes, because there would have been very little places for them to have landed. There was very little land, so it would have been an airborne invasion. But there was also, we're talking about it. Do we talk about the invasion? I have to test the waters because this is a triggering subject for people. Because there would have been infiltration into the Mintakan collective as well. But it would have been, definitely would have been airborne. There would have been very little places for them to have landed. Yeah.
Cool, cool. Anyone else have something they want to throw out there? And everyone who's still here, throw your questions in there. Katie said, that's me, Seraphina. Thank you for acknowledging that. And seriously, thank you for bringing that up, because I was a first wave person. I don't know. I think that's just how I was created by source at the origin point, because I'm always like the first one in there, you know what I mean? But I forget that there's still people who were on there and were there for that part and then came later. I wanted to mention, while Shannon is here, that when Monique did her hypnosis and we were having that experience, I went immediately back to the place. And you can unmute yourself, Shannon, if you like, because you're muted. Shannon and I, we've had a lot of conversations and discussions and work together, trading healing and all of that. But what came out for us at one point, and when we were podcasting and doing different things together, was that I remember being born in this particular incarnation. I remembered where I was before I was born. And I figured out that and there was this wonderful, I mean, there were a lot of wonderful caretakers, but like we each kind of had our own individual governess, let's say, for lack of a better word. And part of the reason for this, and this is what I got, I'm like going all over the place, but when Shannon and I first connected and I realized all this, I realized that this place was preparing us to come here. And when I was being born, I didn't want to come. My mother had to come up and get me. And my wonderful governess was, you know, trying to reassure me, tell me it was time to go. And part of the reason for this period of like childhood before we came here was that it would be just way too jarring to wake up a baby on Earth. So what they showed me, and so anyway, Shannon, I'm pretty sure, was like my Mintakan mommy, kind of. She was my governess, the group that I was with and who came in, and she was looking after us, and we have that connection. And so we're always joking, like, because, you know, I'm older than Shannon, and so in this life, like, I'm more like the mom, but then I have to remember, but you're the mom too. But what they showed me in the beautiful hypnosis that we did is what they showed me was the way, why are you obscuring that for me right now? They showed me more about that and helped me understand more about that, and how it's not exactly like nurseries. It's just that when new life is created there, it's a much different experience, and they just sort of come into being. And so they need someone to help them adjust, help them become mature, help them understand existence. And so it's sort of like a whole separate area, and they're not really put in the rest of the population or the pods of families until they're fully mature and ready. So that was my connection with Shannon. So that was part of my tears during the hypnosis, is that I was like, it's my mommy, my Mintaka mommy. So Shannon, what do you think of all that?
Well, no, you know, I love that. And it's so funny because we do go back and forth with the who's the mom.
Yeah.
my rule with us, like, you know, all of a sudden I'm giving you this motherly advice. I'm like, where is this coming from? Why am I doing this? But yeah, we definitely do have that connection. And it's just funny with that regression, kind of how we were saying in the chat, like it was very formless for me, but the part that I was just resonating so deeply with was like, as we went through the back in the mother's womb kind of thing, like my consciousness just completely glommed onto that and was like, oh yeah, that's what I am right now. I am this womb. And so it was almost just as though like being the ocean, being the planet, but the planet being the womb. And so just like experiencing that whole feeling throughout that regression, which was just like beautiful, but very much the oneness. And so, yeah, it definitely resonates with not necessarily that that's, you know, what that was in that sense, but like just being that womb in the sense of helping grow that, you know, being into something that was ready to kind of move out into the world. So I had kind of a similar, parallel, different experience. But I also wanted to share, if it's okay, like a separate kind of interesting thing that came to me kind of in a liminal space in regards, which I relate back to Mintaka, which is kind of this interesting factioning. And I don't know how to like line this into timelines or anything like that. I haven't experienced enough of it to know where it kind of goes in. But I've experienced kind of this coming out of the water and this kind of burst of land, so to speak, that the water being a sentient ocean, being a being, kind of pushed out for those Mintakans or for those beings who kind of wanted to experience a bit more of that duality, a bit more fear, because it was love, it's love, you're in the womb always, you are always connected, and you're so connected that there became some of us that were like, I want to experience something different. I want some fear. I want a little bit of adrenaline. I want, you know, so like almost adrenaline junkies. So the same kind of people who on Earth would like jump out of an airplane or something like that to have that like different experience. And that's what we were. And I mean, I resonate with at one stage, at least being, you know, wanting to experience this different thing. And the ocean was, you know, supportive, still our mother, still like, yeah, okay, I'm going to help you do this thing. And push this land, this spike of land out of the water. And because we were shapeshifters and we could already, you know, have these feathers and go fly over the water, those who lived out of the water would kind of stay in that form a little bit more and have those feathers and be more of the flying type. And I remember kind of living in this place in a cave under a waterfall, because it was kind of like, you know, like a fantasy novel with like just water flowing all the way from the top of the land all the way down, and just kind of this floating, very, very straight up landmass where there was just kind of dotted little, you know, dwellings along it for these people who wanted to like, you know, have a little bit of distance from mom, kind of like get kicked out of the nest a little bit, get, you know, out there, so that there was just enough separation that they could feel that separation, they could feel what that felt, they could feel a little bit of that fear and that adrenaline, and what it felt like, that separateness. Because of course, like, we're very much at that place here on Earth, we're very much experiencing that separateness. So this was like this compared to Earth, like very, very close to still being one, but just enough to have that experience. So I that was kind of like a faction thing that I thought would be fun to share, because it was an interesting vision, and it was very tied in with a lot of dreams I'd had in the past, and a lot of kind of flying really low over the water, and you know, the knowledge still though that anytime you could kind of go in, like there was never that separation, but like just knowing that you could just skirt it, just knowing that you could be that different was a whole different feeling.
That is awesome. And yeah, that makes perfect sense, because in my later visitations there, I would have the experience and then also see others with coming out of the water and, you know, shifting into a different you know, physical state, physical being, and being more solid, and also, like you're saying, flying, like literal flight. And as I mentioned in the beginning, people just decide today I'm a have a bird head, or I want to be this shape tomorrow. So you might see like a body walking around with a flower on the top of it instead of a face. But that ties into something I was thinking about earlier that I wanted to bring up on the panel to get feedback about it. I started thinking about how, and it makes sense too, especially with Seraphina talking about, more than one wave of us coming in. But also, I just was thinking about the population of Earth, right? And how much, like, guessing how many of us came initially, and then thinking about how the population of Earth has expanded. I just kind of had one of those stoner thoughts where I go, wait a minute, because see, with consciousness, part of what I've come to understand anyway is that our consciousness can be fractalized into many different expressions. So that I'm here, I'm embodying this goddess Nemesis, and I meet, but there's a part of that is somewhere else being someone else also at the same time. And so I got to thinking about that, and I thought, I wonder if, as the human population has grown, if we sort of, fractalized so that we maintained a certain percentage of inhabitants, a certain number of anchors of that love energy. So anybody want to chime in on that?
Well, my understanding of the legacy of the Mintaka collective coming into and being here for so long is that they've altered the original human blueprint. So many of the Mintakan attributes would have been spread out to subsequent humans that would have been born.
I see. So you're saying like it would literally like I see. So we came here and we changed people. So we're having like a genetic legacy of Mintaka. Monique, you wanted to say something too.
Yes, one interesting thing that I learned from other people's experiences with hypnotherapy is that when we've done soul work, my personal experience with soul work is that our souls expand and it threads out. And so parts of our souls are guides, parts of our souls go out everywhere. And, listening to other people and their experiences, we have so many parts of ourselves that are in others because we're all connected. And so I think that is very possible that there are parts of us, and I think it's possible that within a person, it's multiple parts of souls that create it, and that helps bring connection in. So you might have one main part, but then there's little parts that have that connection intertwined, which helps bring us to these memories of past lives and from source and that interconnection. So that's just something from my own personal experiences and other people with their experiences during hypnotherapy sessions that they've shared.
I love that. That's amazing. That is very validating because there's not a lot of people as yet talking about that concept, we've kind of tended to be, not surprising because, that's what we are, polarity, binary. It's kind of been like, well, you have a soul and that's your soul. And that's the only soul you get. And it's like one contained thing and it can't be many parts of many things, which is kind of funny that we would assign that anyway, because physically we're the byproduct of how many generations of physical DNA manifested in our bodies. Brittany, I know because you're here, so I want you to say something because you're so awesome. So I know that you've been really you felt really connected to Mintaka. Did you have anything you wanted to share about it?
I have been having a lot of people that I'm working with that are in need of dolphin and whale healing frequencies. And I've been hearing the dolphins and the whales specifically tell me when that person is Lemurian based or Mintakan based or Atlantean based. And it's just a different frequency that that person is holding than somebody that has a lot more like earth energy in them, or maybe like fairy energy. But the dolphins and whales have been coming through so heavily recently. And I'm not sure if that's because I'm more attuned to them now or if that's just what's needed on the planet. But I wanted to ask if anybody else has been doing any healing with those type of frequencies.
Yeah, I've been doing that too. Especially in my meditation, whales have been coming up a lot. I've been having dreams about them. So usually when I do Reiki sessions, I have whale songs playing, and I recommend people listen to whale music in the tub. The tub is really an amazing place. So yeah, but that was more really within the last couple months. Whales have been coming forward, and people have had an instant connection with them. So that's really interesting and not surprising that that's happening.
That makes me so excited, but you probably know that already. Yes, I've been listen to whales for the last year. One of the, I mean, aside from their frequencies being healing and everything, while we're talking about that, what I wanted to throw out about it, since I spend a lot of time hanging out with them, is that keep in mind they're just like any other energetic body who can be very tiny or very large, and also that we have sovereignty as human beings. So if you want their help, you just have to grant permission for it or ask for it. But when you're listening to the whales and dolphins, if you ask them, please heal me, help me, however you want to phrase it. A lot of times I find there's physical healing, but then there's also some times where I know they're giving me emotional healing. Just be sure to ask them, and their energy is with you. And those frequencies, part of why that is so soothing to us on an earth level is that it helps us to sync up with the earth's frequency, which is the Schumann resonance, and a whole other rabbit hole I went down on many, many other things. So I'm not going to do that. But when the Schumann resonance is, different, that whale song really helps us to stay grounded and connected and centered. And yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, it's kind of funny. I've been working on tones come out of me that sound like whales and dolphins. and I'm kind of like, all right. Can't I, because when you listen to whales and dolphins long enough, you start to hear where it's looping. So it's like, I want to hear live feed whale sounds, you know what I mean? Like a live feed of whale sounds. And so I've been making all kinds of goofy noises. But, the thing you said, Seraphina, about our skin, certain sensory organs, like being as sensitive as a clitoris, dolphins, one of the only other mammals that has that body part that actually has sex for pleasure. But about, 6 months ago, I think, is when they started. For a while, it was like the dolphins constantly, you need more orgasms. Everyone needs more orgasms. Tell them all they have to be having more orgasms. You need more sex. You need more orgasms. Because they're like, for the most part, they're just very happy and jolly. And the whales are there for the more serious stuff. But you can truly have amazing well-being, physically, mentally, and emotionally, if you make listening to whales a habit. Anyone else? Anyone else have any final thoughts? All right, so if our participants who were very patient, you have one more thing?
I do have.
Yes.
Just with regards to what Monique was talking about, with souls and stuff like that. There is in standard energy body treatment that where am I? In the when they're teaching energy systems, they talk about the relationship body, which is the energetic frequency that we are all on. So once you have a connection to somebody, that you actually share an energy body. So there is that stream of thought in therapeutics. I think it's the fourth one that they talk about, out from your skin, where they talk about the relationship body, and that operates at a frequency with whomever is in your collective. So when people talk about your collective and your collective body, they're talking about that frequency which you would resonate on with certain people and other people and everybody. Also, another thing that I just wanted to add, another part of the Mintaka experience is that fairly recently I managed to stumble upon what I would say is somebody who was in the party of invaders, and the guilt and shame from that experience created what I would only call a reverse Stockholm syndrome, where they are feeling the Mintakan experience because they were there and they experienced the Mintakan experience, but they experienced it from the person that was coming in to invade and have an experience of being a Mintakan. But that experience of being a Mintakan actually failed and created the whole let's leave before this gets really bad experience. So there is that experience as well, where the invader party, because I'm sure that there's more, I accidentally stumbled across one, but I'm sure that there were more out there of people who have this great guilt, shame, loss, grief, Mintaka experience, but from a very different place as well, and being really confused by that flavor of experience because they were part of the invading party that tried to infiltrate the Mintakan experience to try to become a Mintakan and have that Mintakan experience, which resulted in the mass exodus. So just, you know, if I know there's so many of us here that are into therapeutics, that are healers, and that there is the possibility that you may actually run into one of those people as well. Yeah.
That's a really excellent point. I'm glad you shared that, because I always forget. Hello? Oh. Quick change. Can you hear me? Okay. My mic finally died. I was like, wow, how long is the battery going to last on this thing? And it did make it for the entire 4 hours. We just can't stop talking. But thank you for bringing that up. There is a certain safety in being the first wave of anything, because then you don't have to deal with other stuff. But that is a really good point. And I have noticed that with some people as well. And it's important to acknowledge that. I'm trying to think. I thought there was something else I was going to say, and I don't think so. Does anybody else have anything else they'd like to share before we wrap it up? I'm looking to see, because we do still have some of you here who have attended this whole thing. I really appreciate you. thank you for being here and enjoying this. And whatever parts you missed, don't worry about it. It will be edited and put up in sections. That was kind of the purpose of the breaks, other than the fact that we're human bodies and we would just explode otherwise if we didn't take a break. I also did it to make editing a little bit easier. So that will be up on my YouTube channel over the next week, and then also on anybody else's channels who was here presenting that would like to put it on theirs as well. So watch for that everywhere and share it with your friends. And so you can go back and see what you missed. All of our contact information will be in the notes for each of the episodes, so that you can get a hold of everybody. If anybody wants to give their info one more time, feel free to do that. I'm Grieving Goddess everywhere. It's hard to avoid me, really, so you'll find me somewhere. But otherwise, I guess I just want to say thank you to everyone who was here on the panel, everyone who presented. I'm sure I will go have a lovely cat eye ruining cry now that it's all completed and that it worked out and made everybody so happy with my gratitude. You're welcome. Shannon just said, thank you, Andrea, for making this happen. Thank you all for making this happen, because I certainly couldn't have done it all by myself. So I love you all, and I will see you all next time.